Ramadan, the time of spiritual reflection and worship, a time of patience, humility, self-discipline, and submissiveness to God. During the holy month, Radio Sultanate of Oman 90.4 FM takes you on a journey from spiritual reflection and enlightenment to family entertainment. Join us all day and all night long here on the Nation Station. Radio Sultanate of Oman 90.4 FM is all set to bring you Let's Connect. A soul-searching program which is about a journey of self-discovery hosted by Rym.
12 noon to 1 p.m. Sunday to Thursday.
Send your questions to 90406 or call us at 246-02058.
Let's Connect here on the Nation Station.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Peace be with you all. Welcome to Let's Connect, your Ramadan radio program. Let's Connect in this season of Ramadan focuses on values, understanding values in our life and how to live them for a better self, society, and nation, inshallah. With you is Rym Aoudia and Ali Al Farai throughout the best month of Ramadan. Yesterday, we spoke about justice and we had a guest expert with us in the studio. If you missed that episode, you can tune in online at facebook.com/321connect. That's the number 3, the number 2, the number 1, and the word connect, CONNECT. We're live on the air daily from Sunday to Thursday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. We welcome you to call us in for your thoughts, inputs, and suggestions at the number 24602058. That's 24602058. Ali, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How was the start of the day?
Oh, it was good. I got stuck.
Oh, really?
I got stuck in a bank waiting for my turn, which was like 2 hours until I got my turn.
SubhanAllah. Yeah. So you referred back to the value of patience, which is also online, our episode.
I tried my best.
Alhamdulillah. As long as there was that awareness, consciousness. Yeah. That brings us to today's value, in which today's value also has the power to break barriers, to open hearts, to elevate your status in the eyes of our Creator and the people. And it's a value that also opens you up to growth and learning. And the value of today is, Ali?
Humility.
Mashallah, humility. So let's start by conversing and understanding the concept of humility itself.
All right. Humility is a foundation of all other virtues and is the lens through which we see ourselves in relation to everyone else. Humility is actually defined as the act or posture of lowering oneself in relation to others. It is the heightened sense of self. It is the ability to understand yourself and your relationship to others and to God. It's the ability to keep yourself earthed. You're down to earth. So, and another way of defining humility is that it's the opposite of pride or arrogance. And
yes.
As per Saint Augustine said, humility is the foundation of all the other virtues. Hence, in the soul in which this virtue does not exist, there cannot be any other virtue except in mere appearance. Let me ask you, can you build a house without a strong foundation?
No.
Probably not. Humility is that foundation upon which you build all other values.
I see. So you might build your values, but if you're arrogant, they can collapse.
They can collapse. And by the way, humility and humiliation are two different words.
Yes.
So some people might get confused about these two and think they are the same. Humiliation is to make someone feel ashamed or lose respect for himself or herself. But that's not our topic for today.
It's humility, which is being humble. Excellent. And I've also come across how humility has been defined. It's been seen as a healthy perspective of one's abilities. It's neither egotism nor is it low self-esteem. So it's a healthy view, as you mentioned, it's a lens of one's abilities, as well as one's own limitations, and a value for the importance and abilities of others. So it's that appreciation, the healthy appreciation of yourself, knowing your limitations and weaknesses, and acknowledging the importance and value of others.
So you actually know what your weakness is when you are human.
Yes, you're not blinded and thinking, I'm on top of the world.
All right. Good, great.
SubhanAllah. And Ali, you mentioned pride, and that's something as well mentioned as well in hadith, is not to have pride in our hearts. So how would you define the concept of pride, the opposite of humility, but how specifically?
All right. I might actually give you a story if you want to hear. It's about the story of creation of Adam and how Satan was responded to that. Adam was the first man Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created, and was created from the elements of clay, the element of the earth. Allah asked the angels to gather together, and thousands upon thousands of angels reverently gathered. With the angels was also an important jinn by the name of Iblis, known as Shaitan or Satan. Every angel was solemnly waiting to see what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was going to order. Adam was standing by, waiting in all respect. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked all the angels to bow in respect to Adam, since Adam was created so uniquely. When the angels heard the command, what did they do? They obeyed right away, and they bowed to Adam. However, one disobeyed, and he stood still, defiant. This one was Satan himself. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saw Satan defying his command, he asked Satan for the reason. Satan arrogantly replied, "How can I bow to Adam when he is a mere human, an inferior creation of me?" To me. Satan added, "After all, jinns were created from the energy of fire, while Adam was created from clay, mere clay." It was so arrogant. So Satan was so arrogant and proud of his defiance. He was so blind with self-importance by now that he disobeyed his own creator, Allah himself. It was Satan's lack of humility that led him astray. Having arrogantly defied Allah Almighty, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what did he do? Allah dismissed Satan from the garden of bliss, since Satan was disrespectful and considered himself above, superior, above Allah's law, and indeed a hater. He was a hater of humankind.
That connects with, as you mentioned, that pride. There's two elements we can see of pride, is in which in Arabic it's kibr, considered the inner quality of pride, and takabbur is the outward quality of having arrogance. And so there's, as you mentioned, there's one can have pride before Allah in terms of the person is too arrogant to bow to Allah in worship, too arrogant to turn to Allah, and it's a sense of ingratitude in a way. Sometimes a person might experience that in terms of, I'm not going to turn to Allah or ask Allah or bow down, or there's that sense of, there's still pride in your heart to be grateful to the Creator and to bow down in gratitude. And there's also the pride with other people, is where we believe to be, better than others. So there's two ways we can see having pride in our heart.
Yeah, being humble to Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself said, "I created the jinn and humankind only that they might worship me." وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. If our very core purpose is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and by worship I don't just mean prayer, but it's everything. Worship is to dedicate all your actions towards pleasing Allah.
It's a lifestyle.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle. Exactly.
Yes.
You said it best. But in order to truly recognize our purpose, we need humility. We need to truly see ourselves for who we really are. Indeed, the Arabic word Islam actually literally means submission or surrender. However, it's derived from the word salam, which means peace and safety. And to surrender yourself to God, it brings you peace.
Yes.
So if you're humble, if you're showing humility to God, you're actually showing and actually getting that peace
You're allowing it to
yourself,
flow.
allowing it to flow to yourself, to the
Yes.
people around you, to your surroundings.
Yes. And in a way, it's like keeping your heart open and not putting a wall with others or with Allah, saying that, I'm superior, kind of distancing yourself. And I'd like to share as well, speaking of pride, they've come across information that says there's 3 degrees of pride that one can have, and to have a check-in so that we can enable humility to flow within us. And the first is pride in the heart, in which someone sees himself or herself better than others, but tries to rectify and act humbly. And I think most of us at times will fall into this, is that maybe there's a situation where we feel some pride in our heart, but we are aware of it and we try to act humbly to overcome it. And then there's pride and arrogance in public settings, where you want to show excellence in the way you're behaving, and you kind of look down on those who don't respect you.
Yeah.
So the way you carry yourself, it shows that pride. And then says the third pride and arrogance is through your words, where you're constantly trying to prove yourself, your achievements, your lineage, be it, but there's constantly talking about oneself and elevating yourself as superior to others through your speech. So these are the 3 areas that we can check in on ourselves if we fall into any of these, so that we can work on it.
Yeah, actually, humility is to attribute greatness to Allah. It actually gives thanks to others and to keep our feet on the ground. It's also, to combat our ego, which is called jihad an-nafs.
That's a powerful thing. We'll get to it. First, we'll have a prayer break and we'll be back.
Our listeners, now it's time for a call to prayers, Adhan al-Dhuhr, according to the local timing of Muscat and its suburbs. Those who reside outside Muscat Governorate have to notice the difference in timing. Radio Sultanate of Oman.
Radio Sultanate of Oman 90.4 FM is all set to bring you Let's Connect.
Let's connect.
A soul-searching program which is about a journey of self-discovery, hosted by Rym.
12 noon to 1 p.m. Sunday to Thursday.
Send your questions to 90406 or call us at 246-02058.
Let's connect here on the Nation Station.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Welcome back to Let's Connect, your Ramadan radio program. Our topic today is humility. We welcome you to call us in at the number 24602058. That's 24602058. Before the break, we're speaking about understanding the concept of humility, understanding the opposite of that, pride, which can be considered as disease in our heart that we need to overcome so that we can nurture humility within us. And before the break, Ali, you also mentioned the struggle of the self being the greatest struggle.
Yeah, which is called jihad in nafs, or we can even call it ego. In a book that delves into what the ego is and how to keep it check, and there's an author, David Markham, and also Stephen Smith, the authors of the book Egonomics. They say that the first thing we need to do is become aware of when our egos are getting the better of us. By doing that, we can then ultimately keep ourselves in check. So this the author suggests that there are 4 warning signs for that. But you see what I'm getting to is you actually try to be aware first. Yeah, you have it.
Understand the self.
You understand that okay, I realize that I'm actually having it, which most of people don't do that. Analyze yourself.
Yes, and maybe you start noticing patterns. Oh, in this situation, it comes in.
Oh, yeah, it's
I
there.
feel arrogant.
Maybe I want to help somebody, but while I'm helping somebody, I'm actually seeing myself. I'm higher than that person. There's something wrong about it.
Yeah, rather than being of service to that person.
Yeah. So they actually suggested 4 warning signs to that. One of them is being comparative. It's like, it's I have muscles. Yeah, you're skinny. You don't have anything. So you're actually trying to compare yourself with others in a way that you are showing that, hey, I'm better than them. I'm better than you.
And just to, focus on that a bit, it's fascinating because oftentimes we might fall on the comparison and either it makes a person feel superior to another, or it makes a person's self-esteem lower. So in either case, it's harmful to compare one another. We have a call. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Let's Connect.
Alaikum salam.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear us?
Sister Rym, how are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. What's your name?
Brother Ali, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Alhamdulillah. How are you doing, brother?
Ramadan Kareem to all of you.
Ramadan Kareem. Thank you very much. May Allah bless you. Thank
Saeed
you.
is...
Saeed?
Yes.
Saeed means happy in Arabic. Welcome, Saeed.
Yes. Thank you. I just want to give some thoughts on the topic humility.
Excellent. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll start from where you ended. I think you have mentioned something that humility, around it, are many ethics built. It comes up with humility, like being honest, being kind, being, and all of these good stuff about being a good person.
Yes.
And out of my experience, and I think that, subhanallah, when you are absent, during your absence, or in your absence, the best thing that can defend you among people is your humility. Don't you agree with me?
I do. You're right.
They acknowledge
because
that.
With humility, I think it's a very powerful tool that you can win over the people's hearts.
Yes.
People will actually start saying good things about you when you're not there.
And subhanAllah, it's a blessing where your status actually is elevated, where that wasn't the intention, but your status ends up being elevated.
Yes, brother Saeed.
Saeed, you're with us?
Yes, I'm with you.
Yes, mashallah. No, that's a very good point raised.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Saeed. We're su'ada, happy with your call.
We feel so humbled.
Thank you, Saeed. Have a great day. That's a nice point captured. Is that think of it as a beautiful aroma in the presence of people, that even when you leave, they can sense that beauty, that aroma of your character.
Yeah, I mean, imagine yourself in a college. Students, like the gangs there, they're standing together, and there's this one person that passes by arrogantly and shows off. Look at my trousers, look what I'm wearing, and all that. You're just showing it to people. And then when he's not present, they start talking about, have you seen that guy?
Yes.
But if he was humble, nobody would say anything, or if they say, they'll say good things about that person. So
he opened the hearts of others.
Thank you, Saeed, for that.
Thank you, Saeed. We have a call. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Rym, how are you?
Alhamdulillah. So I saw a big smile of Ali's face, and I know that's Brother Hatim. That's the connection I make. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, it's nice to hear all of you on the show.
Thank you. Nice for you to call.
The topic is indeed very important about humility.
Yes, alhamdulillah.
On the other hand, the worst character or the worst quality a person would have is ignorance or feeling the pride over others.
Arrogance, maybe.
Arrogance.
Yes.
And for those who feel arrogant towards others, you might ask yourself one thing, to be arrogant, you have to be superior over others. But in terms of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are never superior towards Allah. You cannot even control the way you blink. You cannot control your heartbeat. You cannot control anything.
Yeah.
Even a slight flu can, admit you on bed. So what is there to be arrogant about?
Yes, many limitations that we have.
Yeah, this is the only thing that I wanted to share.
Oh,
mashallah.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, Brother Hatim. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. It's that self-awareness of the limitations we have.
It's like the story that I just mentioned about Adam and Satan, and we could also say that ego. From that story, you could actually say that ego is the root of evil. To have an inflated sense of self or inflated ego is the feeling of arrogance and pride. It's what causes us to do evil in the world. Think about the atrocities around the world, the wars, the crimes, the racism. It occurs when someone thinks that they are more important than someone else, to the point that their want might even have a higher value than someone else's life. That's arrogance. That's egoistical. That's lacking humility.
And I think just like we spoke about how humility can be the base of many other virtues, is also arrogance and pride can make people then become unjust towards other, or feel that they're entitled to something more than another.
Yeah.
So as you said, it brings about more negative habits. You were mentioning as well about comparison, the points from the book Economics. Maybe we should have a book, Humility-nomics.
Yeah, Rym and Ali. Okay.
Inshallah,
we'll have that, inshallah. Okay. Yeah.
We have a call, Ali.
Okay.
We'll go back to that. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello.
Hello. We have with us Helen Sayers.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
morning.
Welcome to
Good
the show.
afternoon, in fact.
Oh, it's
Oh,
afternoon.
yes,
yeah,
you're right.
Yeah.
It feels fresh all day long. Helen, mashallah, Helen, you're a values education certified trainer as well. And we'd love to know your input on, the value of humility.
Well, first of all, congratulations on this wonderful program, Let's Connect.
Thank
I really
you.
enjoyed listening to some of the programs. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to hear all of them, but
They're
they
all
really are
online,
very
Helen,
inspiring.
in our Facebook page, 321 Connect.
There's no way out.
And great to listen to you and Ali this morning or this afternoon.
Thank you.
On this wonderful topic of humility, and it just brought some thoughts to mind as I was listening. And your point, Ali, that it's the foundation of all other virtues and values, and I was seeing that yes, integrity, sincerity, honesty, peace all have their roots in this, humility. And I was thinking of some great role models of humility in the world, some from the past and some from today's world, and thinking of Gandhi and Nelson Mandela and of course His Majesty.
Yes.
I think he's a great role model of humility, and Mother Teresa.
Yeah.
And I think all of them show this gentle self-respect and the lack of the need to show off and elevate themselves, and yet they've become among the most respected people in the world.
Yes. I like the phrase you used,
yes.
Helen, gentle self-respect. I like that, yes.
Yeah. And I was just thinking of, how to develop this quality, which is so important. And I was thinking to myself, it's when I'm really enjoying what I'm doing, whether it's my work or being with people, if I really enjoy that, then I actually don't need to proclaim to the world that I am this or I am something else. So I was feeling that it's that sort of introversion, being able to go within and find that satisfaction and that enjoyment of life. And I was just reading this morning, looking for some ideas, and I found this lovely article. It was actually from a friend of mine in South Africa, which, if I've got just a minute or so, I would love to read to you and the audience.
Would love that. Go ahead, Helen. Yes.
Yes. She speaks of a term that's used in South Africa, and it's called mokgorong.
Okay.
And what she says is, silence was a great part of the African communities in the past. There used to be places where people would go and be by themselves, to be with themselves. The space itself was highly respected and believed to be deeply transformative. Hence, those in mokgorong would not be disturbed under any circumstances.
Okay.
These days, such places are only reserved for chiefs and kings. A king, when angry, would go and spend time there. And when he came out, he was expected to have calmed down. And she says, although there were no churches, mosques, or temples in those days, there was and still is an understanding that there is sacredness behind being by yourself and with yourself. And she says at times, this is where you just have to be. Mokgorong is not just a physical place, but an internal space in which to see yourself and transform, she says. It's the place where I think the transformation of Nelson Mandela arose from. It was a result of how he used enforced aloneness and isolation in jail for all those years. And thus, out of many others, he became the embodiment of forgiveness and humility. He came out cleansed and purified.
Amazing.
When you go to Mokgorong, she says, you often have to bend in a small space, a cave, symbolic of the humility required for transformation to happen and for you to receive the necessary guidance. It implies that in that space you do not seek, but you receive. And therefore, you would be able to give when you came out of that space.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Helen.
It says a lot, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we're speechless, but
I was in silence absorbing it.
And I felt it was very timely where, we went to that moment of prayer in the middle of your program. That just gave me and gave many others of us a time to reflect.
Yes.
And especially to reflect on the values. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Helen. Thank you so
sharing.
much for
Thank
your
you.
contribution. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
Have a lovely day. That's powerful. And that's how acts of worship and having moments of silence for inner reflection and really going, away from noise, away from distractions, it can really help us tap within us and find those good values, bring them out. And it's interesting how she mentioned as well in terms of loving what you do, enjoying what you do. And that's fascinating because pride doesn't only come from one's achievements or feeling of success, but also those who feel that they haven't achieved, that they don't have success, that they're not enjoying what they do, they might cover it with arrogance and pride just so that they hide that quality within them. And so it's fascinating in terms of, find that happiness as well in your life.
Yeah.
You just be in a state of peace, satisfaction.
When she talked about, was it Mokgorong? Is that what she said? Yeah.
Yes, we'll ask her again.
I actually remembered a video of one of the sheikhs who actually went inside the grave. I don't know if you've seen that video, and he stayed there for 20 minutes or something. And it
remind himself.
Yeah, it was filmed in a nice way. It was covered, everything with the white clothes, and then he was put there as if he's really dead. And then when he came back, he was like, wow, he was a different person. He started seeing himself, the earth is so big, but when I went down there, I couldn't even move. And to be honest, we actually did that experience.
Yourself?
one time. Yeah, I went with my friends.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe I wanted to share that.
Mhm.
And we said, yeah, let's try and go inside the grave and see how it feels. I couldn't stay for more than 5 seconds.
Oh, the feeling.
Yeah, it was a bit scary, because you're living in this wide world, and then suddenly you see yourself down there.
And I think reminding us that eventually we pass away, we will leave this world. It reminds us to be humble, attain humility, because we're all passing on, and then we won't become so attached to things that give us arrogance and pride.
Yeah.
SubhanAllah. And so the next point as well from the
From the
books you
economics.
mentioned. Yes.
So the first one we said it was being comparative, and in which we say that people are trying to compare each other. And the second one is being defensive. So someone criticizes you, what happens to you? You become defensive. You become angry about it. If somebody says anything bad about you, or maybe just something that you might consider as bad, but you're like, oh, you have white hair.
Or maybe sometimes corrected.
Yeah,
you said information that's wrong.
Yeah, you gained some weight. Okay, you try to defend yourself. Oh no, I'm not. I exercise every day and I'm healthy. So you're trying to be defensive. That's the second.
So not accepting
not
people's input. Or,
so, and it's like the evaluations that we have during training programs or workshops, and why do people evaluate you? So that you could improve yourself.
Yes.
If there's something wrong, there's always room for improvement. So if you're arrogant and you don't accept that, you're not going to improve. You're not going to develop.
Yeah, it brings us to the point where by being open to feedback, humility enables you to do that, and that enables you to be open for growth and learning.
Yeah. That's what keeps you going. The moment you say to yourself, I know everything, I don't need your help, then that's it.
Yes.
You come to the end and you cannot go any further.
I'll share a short narration, and then we can move to the next point that's mentioned. It's a story, the narration, that a renowned master, Hassan of Basra, teased a child who was lighting a candle. And he said to him, "O little one, tell me, where did this magical flame come from?" The child instantly blew out the candle and asked, "You tell me, where did the flame go?" And this awakened something deep in him. And he said the little child was a big teacher.
Yeah.
So being open to learning from everyone. Excellent.
You're trying to test him, he tested you back. Yeah, subhanallah. Yeah, and the third sign is showcasing brilliance. We find every opportunity of what skill, what money, etc. we have. We love to show off. Look at my new watch, or maybe sometimes it's something that you say it negatively. Oh, I don't like my old shoes, and that's only you just bought it
seek attention.
You just bought it 2 months ago, but it's just as you said, seeking attention. Look at my shoes. I have I'm wearing new shoes, but I'm just trying to tell you that I don't like it. So there are always a different statements that people use it, and you can see it, you can feel it. They don't have to tell you that, hey, I'm showing off. You can actually feel that. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and do not walk on earth arrogantly. You can neither cleave the earth, nor can you match the mountains in height. إنك لن تخر الجبال طولا. إنك لن تخر الأرض ولن تبلغ الجبال طولا.
Also in chapter 25, Quran, verse 63, it says, "The servants of the merciful are they who walk on earth in humbleness, and when the ignorant address them, they say peace."
وعباد الرحمن الذين يمشون على الأرض هونا وإذا خاطبهم الجاهلون قالوا سلاما. And this happens a lot. Sometimes people try to fight with you or argue with you, and that's it. You've already explained to them, you talked to them, you gave them...
Check in on the ego, yes.
Yeah, but now they're still not convinced. Maybe they're convinced, they agree with what you said, but they don't want to show that. And there's an ego inside them.
Yes.
So they try to argue again. They try to prove you wrong, even that they already know that you're right. But in that situation, just say okay,
peace.
I've done my job, I've told you everything. Salam alaikum.
Salam. And it's on the point of showcasing, I think we need to raise the point that it is good to share with each other. it is good to connect with each other, and however, not to be done in a way, as if you mentioned, that you are projecting it as I'm superior or projecting it as I am showcasing. We had a similar discussion about, for example, sharing your knowledge, sharing what you know, and it should be done in a way where we are all learning from each other.
Yeah.
We're all connected with each other, and we're all open for feedback, prone to make mistakes, and to learn with one another. So we need to, I think, balance and with our attention, not holding ourselves back to the point that we think, oh, it's about going deep within, nurturing that humility within us. And then naturally when we connect with others, we share with others, it comes out of wanting to be of service, to wanting to generate value.
Yeah. It's and it happens to trainers, I mean, I as a trainer, sometimes when people think of me as a person who knows everything, I just tell them, hey, I'm here to learn from you guys. Whatever knowledge Allah has given me, I'll try to share it. But again, I also take things from you, so we actually learn from each other. It's not just one way thing.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
that
like
enables growth.
Yeah, it's like this show, for example. Let's be honest. I don't want people to think that, hey, this Ali knows everything about values. I don't. I do my homework, I do my research, and then we just share.
We share and connect
and then we get phone calls, people share their opinions.
Exactly.
So we're in the same boat.
Yeah, subhanAllah.
Yeah, so that's about the third sign. And the last sign, the fourth sign, is seeking acceptance from others. Example to that, we post many things on Facebook. We're trying to show off, like sometimes you might just put a picture of yourself and say, oh, I just dyed my hair and it's blonde, look at me. So you're trying to what you're trying to do is you're trying to get those likes from people, which again, you're seeking validation from people, where you actually should be seeking validation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yes.
So
I think then it goes back to just so we make sure we don't portray judgment as well. I think it's important that sometimes two similar acts might hold different intentions behind that. And I think what we should do is not to impose a judgment saying this means that, but I think we should use it to reflect on ourselves and make sure that when we do share, when we do connect, is it coming out of a place of feeling superior, or is it coming out of a place of connecting with one another, and also could be humbling and sharing with one another. So I think what we learn from this is all of this is supposed to reflect within us, to evaluate ourselves, not to use it to evaluate others. Because we don't know their intention, only Allah knows. But for us, is also when it comes to seeking acceptance, we want it from our Creator, Allah, and then just check in constantly on our intention. Yeah,
it always goes back to the intention of each person. So sometimes you might just see something, a person posting a picture of his car, maybe, and so he bought a Ferrari or whatever, but you don't know what his intention is there.
It could be just to share it.
Maybe to share. Maybe he's trying to inspire people or motivate people. Yeah, I've done something. Maybe you guys can also do something like that. I've pursued my dream.
Yes.
And you can do that.
Yes.
I'll be honest with you guys. I mean, I've won in a contest, in public speaking contest, and I don't mind sharing that.
That can inspire. Yes.
Telling people, hey, I won it, and look at my trophy. But what's my intention when I share that?
Yeah.
Is it to
so it's a reminder to utilize this to check in on yourself and not because what happens sometimes is that people use it to check in on others and say, and it's not, oftentimes I think that if we're judging others and we think, oh, that person is not humble or showing off, it might actually reflect something inside ourselves, and maybe we are comparing ourselves. So and it goes back to Helen mentioned it, when you go in that moment of silence, you can really deeply look into the roots of how you're feeling things, how you're perceiving.
Yeah. I mean, if you ask me, why humility is important, I would actually tell you. Is there a phone call?
There's a call.
All right, great.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum. We have with us Abdullah Al-Abri.
Yes, sister, how are you?
Alhamdulillah. Welcome to Let's Connect. Ramadan Mubarak.
Ramadan Mubarak to you and to our brother Ali.
Oh, Ramadan Mubarak to you too, brother Abdullah.
Shukran. How's your day, Abdullah?
Well, alhamdulillah, it is excellent. The more, I would say, humble you are, the more good day you will have.
Alhamdulillah. The more you are smiling.
Yes. Humility, the way I see it, is one of the key values that anybody should have it. When people are more self-aware, they would know more their strengths, their weaknesses. And the way I see it, the more you are humble, the more successful you are in life. And the more you are arrogant or the more ego you have, there might be more failures or more defeats. And if we read the history, we would see that, you will see, I would say, great military leaders who failed in a silly way. Their arrogance made them fail their battle because they thought they are the best. They haven't seen their opponent. That's one thing that we need to look at. And maybe the best story here is David and Goliath. And people, if you are interested, just read the book David and Goliath for Malcolm Gladwell. It's an excellent book.
Okay. Can you spell that?
I would say
David and Goliath.
Sorry?
Can you spell that for us?
Goliath. David and Goliath.
David and Goliath.
Okay. So David and Goliath, Goliath. Okay.
Yes. For Malcolm Gladwell.
Malcolm Gladwell. Okay.
And as Muslims, we always learn from the best. We learn from our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how humble he was. And if we read the Sirah Nabawiyya, we see, I would say, great stories about humbleness. And Oman, we learn more from humbleness from our great leader,
yes,
His Majesty Sultan Qaboos bin Said.
Yes.
And we learn also from Sheikh Ahmed Al Khalili, Al Mufti Al Am. And there is something maybe it's worth mentioning. When anybody asks, Sheikh Ahmed about any fatwa, he will conclude it with Allahu Alam.
Yes.
So he wouldn't give you the fatwa just
Allah is the
fatwa, and
all-knowing.
this is the last thing.
Allah knows best.
Yes.
He will always say Allahu Alam, because based on the knowledge I have, this is the fatwa I am giving you.
Yeah.
And that's a great humbleness, the way I see it.
Yes. Acknowledging that we might have limitations in our understanding. Or we do.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and always when you are more humble, I think, and the way maybe I see it here in Oman with the people, we always accept the others' opinion. And when you are accepting them, when you are accepting their opinion, when you are listening to them, you would be more successful. There is always a road for you for improvement. You would see the gaps that you would have in your life, in your skills, in your knowledge, all of those.
Are you willing to take it in? Excellent. Yes. And as you mentioned as well, if you look in history, many kings who thought they're eternal, they rule the world, and then their kingdoms collapse. And so, Abdullah also is yourself as well, the facilitator, where you stand in front of people, you're sharing your knowledge, and have you ever come across perception that, he might be showing off, or, how to do that in a humble way, where you keep yourself open to sharing with others in a way with a quality of humility?
Oh, thank you very much. That's a good question. Well, actually, when I started, I would say I was very arrogant.
Okay. You're being honest, so that's a sign of humility. Yes.
My ego was telling me I am the one who knows everything. Nobody else knows better than me.
But it's good that you're aware of your ego.
He became aware later. You became aware later of it. Yes.
Yeah, but after a while, when I was reading about self-development, I would say, more self-aware about what are the things I have. So one of the things that I've seen, that yes, I have an ego, and based on the feedback I'm getting from the people I am doing training or facilitation or coaching, they were telling me, okay, maybe you need to improve in this area, and I was accepting that. Okay. And after a while, I said, okay, yes, maybe I was very arrogant. Maybe I need to lower that thing, or I need to take care of that thing. And I think I changed. It's like a 180 degree now.
Mashallah.
I always accept others' opinions, even if I don't like it. I would accept it.
But you listen.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's a good opinion. It might not reflect, I would say, the subject that we are talking. It might not be new or whatever. But however, we would accept that.
Yeah, you're not defensive, like the point you mentioned.
Yes. And I learned that the more you are humble, the more you are open to, especially to your audience when you are facilitating, the more knowledge you will get. because your audience, they will not only learn from you, they will learn from each other. The more
Yes.
you are open to them, the more you are accepting their ideas, the more you are giving them room to talk about what knowledge they have and the way they can share it with their colleagues.
It's you in a way you facilitate that open space by living
Yes.
it as well, sharing it. Yes, and it does, like you mentioned, it does take courage to be honest with ourselves and really look in and see, oops, I wasn't as I wanted to be in that situation.
Exactly. I totally agree with you.
So did you have this negative statement within yourself, the negative whisperer that tells you, hey, I'm better than you guys. Don't you ask me, don't you tell me what to do, don't you teach me my job? Did you have something like that?
Well, again, yes, I had that. I would say with myself, I was telling myself, or I haven't told anybody like this, but maybe I told one of my kids one time. Yeah. But after a while, I would say, yeah, but why don't I listen to the other party? Maybe they are right, or there is something that I overstated, I haven't seen. And again, when I was more self-aware, and hopefully now I am more self-aware than I used to be, I could have seen that gap.
SubhanAllah. And it's interesting is that because again we talk about the process of self-awareness, it change doesn't happen overnight, and when we open ourselves to taking in the feedback, I think eventually we practice as well to start seeking that feedback. So even when someone didn't give us feedback, we actually proactively start seeking that feedback and asking, what did you think? How did we do? Yeah.
Exactly. Especially when you have, like, I would say, small audience, it is very easy. When you have a large audience, it might be not that easy, but it is good. And the best source of feedback is from the people who are close to you. So the best source for me is my wife. My father,
she'll be honest with you,
mother,
yes.
and my kids. I always listen to my kids. They give me, I would say, a great feedback.
MashaAllah.
Because, they wouldn't feel that, no, he's my father, I don't want to put him, like, I would say, in a corner or something. No, they are very open. They don't know anything that much about life. So they are very open. So I always try to listen to them, and I see what are the gaps I have and how I can improve on them.
MashaAllah. And it's interesting because children bring unique perspective as well. And when we open ourselves to learn from them, we get insights also.
Of course, and the time we would see ourselves that we learn everything, that's the time we know nothing about life. But because we are always learning, and we will keep learning, and whatever stage we reach, there is always a room to learn something more. So we should be always open to learn something more and something new.
Amazing. That's how humility is just a powerful source for our growth.
And sky is not the limit.
Yeah. MashaAllah. Thank you so much, Abdullah, for taking part.
Thank you very much.
Great to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Ma'as-salam. Have a lovely day. I just mentioned a story as well. The companion of the Prophet, Abu Dhar, said that once I observed Salman and Bilal arriving in the presence of the Prophet. And Salman, out of respect, fell down at the Prophet's feet and kissed him. The Prophet endured to prevent him from doing so, and instructing, do not perform acts that people perform for their emperor. I am just a servant from amongst the servants of God. I eat what they eat and sit where they sit. And great example of reminding ourselves of our state. And this is the great Prophet who is saying that. And also we've mentioned children because even the Prophet was the first to greet children. That's an act as well of humility. You're not belittling, the little ones. No, but acknowledging them as well.
You talk, you speak to the kid. When you speak to the kid, you don't speak to him as if you're actually speaking to a kid. You're trying to speak on the same level.
Yes.
You're trying to understanding that way. I mean, that also takes me to treating the low laborers, for example, or the maids, the housemaids, and how some people treat them. They don't. Some people don't actually show mercy, no respect, no care, and simply because they're just maids. They're here to work, and then when we're done with them, they're out. So it should be our responsibility, especially as sponsors, to be humble to these people, and not just them, anybody else. And also, we need to be careful, and I need to emphasize on the word careful, when we speak to the low-paid laborers. Let's not put that gap of difference Yeah, there's a difference between us. Oh, hey, I'm higher than this person, so let me just go and talk to him because he is, in a lower position, miskeen, nobody talks to him. The moment you say that, and again, it's back to the intention, as you mentioned. The moment you say that, you already told yourself that, hey, I'm better than that person. And because I'm better, maybe just because you said that he is in a lower position, you already upgraded yourself.
Yeah, and it reminds us of how some people take their titles and positions as a form of superiority. And it kind of, that's why I like Robin Sharma's book, Leadership Without a Title, because where he acknowledges that everyone is a leader, no matter what role you're playing. The cleaner, he has a story about the cleaner in the hotel. She's actually passionate about her job, and she sees it as an act of service and bringing value through it. So the concept as well is, we see that often that people hold on to titles and positions, but oftentimes this does not make you superior. It actually means that you have a certain responsibility. That's all. It does not make you better. The only way where others are better than others could be in righteousness. But again, it's for us to seek to improve ourselves in righteousness and not to judge others, you're righteous or not, because that's not knowledge that we are aware of. And it's not our role to do that.
And humility is part of righteousness anyway.
Yes.
So it all connects together. And, humility is what separates the good leaders from the bad, or let's say good leaders from the great ones. And there's good and there's great. So what separates them? If I ask this question, what makes a company grow from merely good to truly great? And as per the book called Good to Great by Jim Collins, it's a level 5 executive. What's that? That's the top line leader who has this paradoxical blend of personal humility and professional will. This is what makes a good leader a great leader. It's not, as we imagine, it's not the loud and harsh and arrogant and foot-stomping, bottom-line, hard-nosed manager. It's not. It is a level 5 leader, a person whom has humility.
Yes.
It's the Gandhis of the world. It's the Malcolm X's. It's the quality our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, had. And I would like to read a quote from a Bible, actually, in Matthew chapter 5, verse 5. It says, God blesses those who are humble, for they will inherit the whole earth. Yeah. So, it's in all religions. It's there. It teaches
it's a value that's important. It helps us connect with each other. And something to note is that it's normal to feel also the honor and pride of doing good deeds and something worthy. Say you did a good act of goodness and you feel happy with that. But it's important to check in that it's not the arrogance kind of pride, but you're happy with it. And I think it's important to create awareness that one of the worst types of pride and arrogance is to look down on people and feel that you are above them because you might feel that I'm more obedient to Allah, or I am more righteous, and that person is perhaps sinning or doing ill things. I think that can be the worst kind. In a way, all our good deeds, I feel, just collapse the moment we feel superior because we're doing acts of goodness, because that wasn't the purpose of doing good. It was, to win the pleasure of Allah, to do good for the sake of good. And the moment we use that to think we are better, that's the issue. But to use that to become a better person, then that's different.
That's what's required. So you need to really have that humiliometer, carry it in your pocket or in your heart, and you keep checking yourself every now and then.
SubhanAllah.
Yeah. And humility actually, it will help us realize our fullest potentials. In essence, humility acts like a reality check. It keeps your feet on the ground and makes you more aware. And by knowing where you stand, you know the direction you need to turn in. And by doing so, we can help unlock our potentials. It's healthy psychologically to be able to do that, and ensures we're aware of where we need to develop ourselves. And we need to always seek to learn more and say to ourselves that, hey, I know everything. Oh, once you say that, you have already stopped yourself from developing.
You've stopped yourself, yes. And you actually start going back and collapsing,
and there's a quote by a reputed American martial artist called Ed Parker, and he said, the humble man makes room for progress. The proud man believes he's already there.
And interesting. It also opens way to progress together. So I believe with humility, not only do you want to grow and prosper and unleash your potential, but you also want others as well to do the same. And we've mentioning as well about pride and arrogance. In Kitab Usul al-Din, mentioned 2 cures for pride and arrogance. Treatments, let's take it as a disease. For example, you find pride and arrogance in your heart. And he says, 1 is knowledge, and 2 is action. By knowledge, and this is similar to what Hatem mentioned as well, is to recognize your position in this world, to recognize yourself and your limitations, and recognize how also we have limitations. We are prone to illness. We get hungry. We get thirsty. We'll pass away. We're a very, very small part of this great universe. So having that knowledge reminds you. I mean, the moments some natural disaster happens or earthquake or everything, and we become very fragile. Or sometimes a small virus can come inside our body and we go in illness. So having that knowledge helps us build humility. And then says number 2, action. Humble yourself to people. And even if it feels unnatural at first, it will eventually become natural. So you are practicing the act of humility, and then it starts flowing naturally.
Yeah.
We have to wrap up the show, Ali. Any final remarks on humility?
I thought we still had 2 more minutes to go. Oh no, okay. Oh, I'll try to be humble for Hatem and his buddies.
They'll kick us out for their next show.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, to wrap up, if any of us has a tiny bit of arrogance within ourselves, let's remind ourselves that there was a time when none of us existed. Allah says, has there not come upon a man a period of time when he was not a thing even mentioned? So, let's stay humble and keep practicing the act of humility.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, Ali. And to wrap up as well, something that I also came across in terms of the positive psychology of humility is that humility gives us an accurate assessment of our abilities, and to acknowledge one's mistakes, it keeps accomplishments in perspective and creates an appreciation of the value of all things, as well as different ways that people can contribute to the world. And we have to remember to see humility as a powerful connection as well that connects us to Allah, being humble in front of our Creator, being full of gratitude for the blessings, and reflecting that humbleness with others. So from all of us here, this is Rym Aoudia, and with you is Ali Al Farai and the sound engineer Safiya Al Habsi. We welcome you to find our episodes online at our Facebook page 321 Connect. So Assalamu alaikum, with peace and love and humility.
Radio Sultan of Oman 90.4 FM is all set to bring you Let's Connect.
Let's connect.
A soul-searching program which is about a journey of self-discovery, hosted by Rym.
12 noon to 1 p.m. Sunday to Thursday.
Send your questions to 90406 or call us at 246-02058.
Let's connect here on the Nation Station.